everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I am now 36 weeks pregnant, which is crazy because it's going so quick now, and this is how I've been doing for the last week. So if you want to see how I've been doing with my symptoms and see that big old baby belly, then keep watching. So I am now 36 weeks. I'm actually 36 plus 3 today, and I know once the weekend's over then it's just magically going to be 37 weeks. It's going so fast now. Baby should be around £6 now and around 47 centimeters in length, if not a bit longer or a bit shorter. The weight and the length now starts to depend on your genetics and your partner's genetics, so there is always a little bit of a variant in there as well. But size wise they're about the same size as a papaya apparently, but that doesn't seem that big compared to last week, which was a bunch of carrots. You never know with these things anyway. But I'm filming this a little bit later on into my 36th week because I wanted to have my midwife appointment and go through that with you in this update as well, so I can sort of let you know what happened if you're in the UK and things like that. And I found one thing out which really surprised me actually, so I will get into that in a second. But to cut a long story short, everything's absolutely fine. Like, my blood pressure is perfect, my urine was perfect. I had to take both kids with me. Bill found it equally hilarious and disgusting that I would give a pot of wee to the midwife and the midwife would play around with it. He was like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing to mama's wee? It was kind of hilarious, but also reminds me that, yeah, I don't think I want to take him again because he's so chatty. But you know, sometimes you just got to go with your kids, haven't you? And it's doable, it's doable. But she also palpated my my stomach, my uterus, felt around and stuff, and measured me. And we heard his heartbeat, which was lovely. In terms of baby's positioning, he's still head down. And in terms of like his measurements, I am measuring slightly ahead stomach wise, but that's normal for my chart, because what they do now is they make a chart for you and your measurements based on your past babies if you've had them, and also takes into account your weight and your height and things like that, so it gives a more well-rounded account of what kind of size baby you could expect. And that obviously not completely accurate, but it definitely seems to work quite well for me and my babies. But he is probably measuring around the 60th centile for me, so he is like bigger, or probably my biggest so far, I think, but you never know, do you, because that's just based on my tummy alone. When she was feeling around though, she did say that he felt like he was going to be another 8 pounders. She says he's a very big baby. He's in good form now. Like, he's just getting chubby, isn't he? And he's in the right place and everything's going really well in that respect. And I love those midwife appointments. And then the interesting thing that I wanted to tell you was that they don't do sweeps anymore on your G date. Now, I had a sweep on my G date with Bill, and I had a sweep at 41 weeks with Bill, I think it was, and it didn't really work. He was my first baby. I was induced, and that was that really. With Daisy, I had a sweep on my G date, and she said that I was extremely favourable, that baby was really low down, for like engaged, that my cervix was nice and like open and like things were happening. And lo and behold, she said, you won't be here for your next appointment. And she was right, because I had Daisy like 2 days later, 1.5 days later, something like that. So I was kind of disappointed, because I thought, oh well, at least if I get to my G date it'd be nice to have a sweep, because it definitely works for me, and I had really like positive labour with her. But yeah, I won't be getting one this time, so I won't get one until I'm 41 weeks, and that is just the way that things are at the moment in terms of like, you know, the process that they go through now, which is just crazy to think that it's changed so much already in 2 years, because 2 years doesn't seem very long, does it? Now on to me. I am definitely heavily pregnant now. I am just so tired. I am exhausted. It doesn't help that I've got a almost 2-year-old that is cutting her molars at the moment. I can feel swelling a lot on the bottom at the back, but I can also feel like some sort of like ragged gum on the top, and I feel like she's getting like 4 at the same time moving down. She's been very, very disruptive with sleep and naps, and just generally been quite hard work, like quite grumpy. Thankfully today she's actually quite a chirpy little thing, and she's gone down for a nap, and fingers crossed she stays that way. But it's been very, very difficult, and I hadn't really bargained on how difficult it would be to be pregnant with a smaller child, because obviously when I was at this stage with Daisy, Bill wasn't far off turning 4, and it's a whole different dynamic. It's hugely, hugely different. And obviously I can't say for certain now what my favourite age gap is. Maybe I'll do a video on it when I've got 3 and I've kind of gotten used to the dynamics of having 3, but I can definitely say that I felt like having an older child made everything a lot easier on me, but it might just be that, you know, I've already got 2 children this time, not just 1, and 1 is younger. You never really know, do you? But it was just a lot easier last time round. I am trying to take it slow with work, and I have noticed a significant difference in my stress levels, because I'm just really going, you know what, no, it doesn't matter. Like, my health really is the most important thing right now, especially like with him in my body. Like, I just want to get him here, and I want to get him here safely. So I'm taking it easy. I do have moments where I get a little bit stressed because I don't really have much help in the day, because Mark's obviously at work, and I just sort of try and do my best on my own, but it can be really tiring sometimes, and it's just one of those things, isn't it? It won't be forever. But I've definitely found it hard this week, and I've got no doubt that it's going to get harder as the weeks go on. I am struggling to sleep a lot more now. Like, sleep is becoming this sort of thing that I'm fantasizing about, and it just never really, it's never enough. Because the thing is, if Daisy does sleep through and she's fine and she's not too bothered, I am getting up to go to the toilet, I would say about 4 times a night at least, and I am trying not to drink too much late at night, but when you get to this stage, you are always thirsty. I am so thirsty even filming this video, because I'm talking about being thirsty. I'm like, I feel parched, and it's horrendous. So you either like don't drink as much, but then you get dehydrated, so that's not good either, or you do drink and you end up weeing even more throughout the night. It's just horrendous. And as you can tell, I've still got heartburn. I still get those like weird gassy burps and stuff, and I find if I don't take my omeprazole tablet every other day, dead on when I'm supposed to, I am in so much discomfort, it's untrue. So I'm very, very grateful for those. I think that my boobs are still growing. I just feel like they're very, very full now. I sometimes get like a almost itchy sensation around the nipple. Not like, that sounds gross, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I've got itchy nips. It's not like that. I can just tell that it's a lactation thing. I can tell that they are preparing to have a baby and preparing to provide milk. I recognise the signs. They are like quite sensitive and tender, and I just notice like that they get quite hot and warm as well. And sometimes I think I have leaked a little bit in the night, but I'm talking like tiny like dribbles of anything. I'm not profusely soaked, but that is definitely something that I've noticed. And they are giving up and ready for this baby, and I am just so hopeful that we get to have a breastfeeding journey that's a little bit different from last time, because I really loved breastfeeding Bill. Like, I really loved it, and I battled through it. Like, we did it for 18 months. I had issues with his latch initially because he was too sleepy, and just took ages to properly start feeding. It took me about a week to even get him to do it properly. And then we had issues with me going back to work when he was tiny, because he wasn't even 2 months old when I went back to work, because I had to, because we couldn't afford to live otherwise. And I expressed from work. I worked really hard to try and get my milk supply up, and I would feed him when I was at home, and it was a labour of love, and I was so pleased to get to where we got to. With Daisy, I felt so much more confident because I was going to have a longer maternity leave this time around, and it was going to be a lot easier in my head. And lo and behold, obviously with a cleft palate, babies can't breastfeed, so I did the expressing for 3 months, and that was amazing, and I'm so proud of myself. I really am, because expressing and tube feeding is just, it's not even enjoyable for the mother. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's really hard work. And this time round, I'm having dreams. This sounds so sad to admit this, but I'm having like these lovely dreams where I have a baby, and weirdly every single time it's actually been twins and they're girls, which means nothing, I don't think. But I am breastfeeding these babies, and in this dream I'm just so happy to be doing it. And it's not even about the choice. Like, I understand that he could come and be absolutely fine and might not successfully breastfeed for a number of reasons, maybe like colic or like reflux or tongue tie, lip tie, any of these things. And that is less painful in my head than just having it taken away from me from the get-go because of a cleft palate. So I'm happy to battle through breastfeeding. I'm happy for it not to work, but I would just like to try. And it's really something that I'm really looking forward to doing, but I just hope that I can. But we will see, won't we? It's just one of those things. We're all ready now and prepared. We have built the snooze pod that we use with Daisy, so that is in our bedroom, ready to go. We've tucked it away in the corner for now because I don't want to attach it to the bed if I'm getting up to wee 4 times in a night, because I'd be like crawling around it all the time or bang into it, and I don't want to do that. So we've just left it. I have a little changing area set up on the landing. We won't actually change him there, but it's where like we're keeping like nappies and wipes just to grab, because it's right outside our room. So in the middle of the night, if we do run out of any that are like right next to the bed, we can go out and grab some. And I've got a new changing mat for him, which is nice. The Isofix base is in the car seat is in the boot for now, just so it's not in the way of the other two while we're getting out and about. We've got the hospital bags all packed and ready to go. They are literally stocked with everything we need, apart from like say phones and chargers and that sort of thing. And the one thing that's made me realise is that I am close to giving birth soon is the lovely introduction of fanny daggers, or lightning crotch, as you may be familiar with, because that is basically when you get to this stage, baby's head is, you know, engaging in your cervix and your pelvis a lot. And when you've had multiple children, that can happen, and then baby's head can pop out and then it can go back in again and pop out. Normally with your first child, baby's head tends to engage and stay there. But I was in agony in particular last night because I was just getting those shooting pains that makes you feel like you've been tasered in the vagina. It's awful. It's so painful, and it makes me yelp like a dog. I'm like, oh, it's awful. It's so bad. But I know that he's very low down, and I can tell when he's down there and he's engaged and when he's not. Like at the moment, I don't feel like he is. I also struggle to close my legs when he's engaged, which is interesting. Slightly worrying as well, because is his head massive? Like, I don't know. But I remember those pains well, and I feel like I've got them to last me for quite a while yet. So I will show you my belly anyway, and you can see if I've dropped or not, and then I'll let you go. So this is my belly with clothes on. If you're wondering, this is like a maxi cardigan. It's not maternity, and it's from Boohoo, and I got it recently, and I think it's very flattering with a bump, I have to say. And this is just a long line stretchy sort of t-shirt top from Primark, and I've got my leggings on because it's basically all I wear when I'm pregnant. But it is definitely a sizable belly now. So that is my belly with my top pulled up, and as you can see these like lines here. I always get that anyway. I think it's just from where my belly protrudes out of my hips and stuff, but I feel like that's getting bigger, which is a sign that my belly is like hanging lower. Like you can really feel a lot of firm pressure around here. And as I've said before, I don't have tons of new stretch marks. I actually haven't really been able to locate any yet that are new. But with your third baby, you kind of have been stretched to your full capacity, haven't you? But yes, that is my 36-week belly. So yeah, that is everything. I want to start saying at the end of every video now, like, because you never know when they're going to come to you, but thank you so much for being so supportive and so lovely and like keeping me company, because I've had ups and downs in this pregnancy as well, you know, with all the worry and stuff about my syndrome, and you have all been so, I'm really grateful, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, good luck to all of you, and I will hopefully see you next week for week 37. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.